weight control, weight control, weight control is such a game changer, and we need to be taking it more seriously. You're going to the vet and you're spending money on pills, potions, and all bits and bobs, when actually we know, fundamentally know, that if you can reduce your dog's weight to an optimum weight carriage, it will influence pain state, it will influence progression. So you need to be pushing to get your dog at the correct weight.
But I would say flooring is, it should be number one in many ways, but I'm going to say it now. Flooring. I view walking on a slippery floor like ice skating, and I don't want to be ice skating around my home. And flooring is just, I mean, I know I'm pushing on an open door with you here because it's just so important. It's something we've been saying for such a long time. So, yeah. And you can, I mean, my flooring in my home is wood, but it's slippery wood. So I bought some very cheap, and they just sort of blend into the background, grey rubber-backed rugs, and they do the job. They give the traction. If a dog,
I'm going to be cruel here.
It's just, it does.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people say to me, but I've just had that floor put down, or I've just, you know, it makes the house aesthetics and stuff. And I am a bit cruel now when I go and do my house visits, and I say, you'll get used to the sight of a rug, you won't get used to losing your dog. And that is the truth. You know, this is such a massive input that will really change the course of this disease.
I think probably trying to maintain a tolerable level of activity for them is really important. So trying to not go beyond what they want to do, but also trying to keep them doing a good level that is mentally stimulating for them too. So not just the same walk around the block, but trying to give them stuff that motivates them and being interested. It's kind of hard because you want to I feel like you want to walk them for 5 minutes less than was bad for them, but you don't quite know where you're at with, you know,
really hard. We've got a new exercise tool coming out soon, just trying to help people question themselves in a flow diagram of what kind of exercise should I be doing with my dog, because my dog's different to my neighbour's dog, who's different to the dog that, you know, Tom saw last week. Dogs are all very different. So when people say little and often, it's very vague, but we've got a new, so fingers crossed. Are you doing it for them, or are you doing it for you? And my point on this one is things like jumping out the back of a car. Now, quite often I see people with the big 4x4s, and they've got their labs and their spaniels and stuff, and they throw themselves out the back of the car. And I just think it's one of those things that's so easy to stop. When you have a dog jump out the back of a car, an average size car, 6 times their body weight goes through their joints, their forelimb joints. So you need to be aware that that is a really massive impact force that they might not need to do. So if you can say, right, I can actually train my dog to wait, and I can just gently lift them out, or they can sit in another part of the car so they don't have to have that impact force. Are you doing it for them, or are you doing it for you? Remember that one.
Please don't throw balls or frisbees. Don't hide them. I get a lot where my dog's obsessed with the ball. I know that, and you saw that picture of the little Springer there. That was the other thing I think that probably it's exacerbated his condition from his previous home. He was obsessed with the ball. Hide it then. So they're having their nose, they're having to engage all their other senses to actually do it, but also to have their nose on the ground finding things is very good for their posture.
Good one. I like that. Nails. Then we started touching on foot care. Again, I didn't realise. I was a vet for 10 years without realising how important nails are. When I started reading more about it, how much discomfort can come from overlong nails. So it's a horrible negative cycle. Poor posture because they're trying to protect something causes them to maybe rock back. The nails have more ability to grow because they're not getting engaged in the ground. That means that they're longer, so when they do engage in the ground, they bounce back and hit P3, so they've got the reverberation against the bone. They're, you know, ow, 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 ow. Try and keep your nails short. A lot of people say, oh, but his quicks are really long and I can't cut them short anymore. by keeping them short, you're going to get that quick to recoil. So keep going, just keep trimming them back, emery board. The quick will want to sink back into nail. You'll get there over time. So do think about nail care and think about the fur in between the pads. Do not shave it against the skin. I don't want to see anybody parting the pads and getting in there. No, you're going to get clipper rash. You don't need to do that. You just need to make sure that the pads are able to contact the ground without hair in the way. And think about the hair that comes from here as well, behind the stopper pad, and it flips over the main pad. Trim it away, have pad contact.
My experience was just particularly being sensitive to what triggers them to have spikes, like being cold or the time of day or when they are. And so in trying to, yes, adapt your life around that. So I had an old lurcher who was particularly bad at starting on a cold morning. So being able to get him with neck pain, so getting him to wear a warm beanie on his neck before we took him out for a walk would make a big difference to him.
Oh, can I do a plug? Okay. So in the shop there is a snug. What's it called? For a dog. It's like a scarf made by a company called Back on Track. They designed it for Holly, my dog, who sadly passed, because I said, I've got this wonderful coat from you, but my dog's got cervical disc disease and she walks around with quite a hunched neck, and you can see days where she doesn't really want to turn her head around. And they designed it, and it's now in the shop. So if you're looking for a super insulated neck scarf for your dog, it's in our shop. Watch your dog. If you see that their foot even just keeps slipping when they walk, that amounts to anxiety, stress, fear of activities on the surface. It also recruits other muscle groups to try and stabilize, because they know that that foot and that push off isn't going to be as secure as they want it to be. They've also not got the same coping mechanisms because they've got muscle mass loss, proprioceptive deficits, weight shifting. So a slip and a trip, they're not going to cope so well with. So if you're seeing that your dog, when getting from a lay to a stand or a sit to a stand, or they're walking across the kitchen, and you're seeing little slips, or near the front door, English houses, the hallway, wooden laminate hallways, high traffic zones, but the postman turns up and the dog goes flying to the door and the legs are going everywhere and it slides into the door. No, it really will progress your dog's clinical signs.
If there's a possibility your dog's sore, should you not do something about it? So that comes from a place of, oh, he's always walked like that, or it's just his funny, just his wobbly elbow, or whatever it is. I know that we get into the world of lamenesses and how that links to pain and that sort of thing. Fine, but if you start walking funny one day, you're probably feeling sore, and the same applies for your dog. And there's lots that we can do. So that's a short one. But I mean, probably everybody listening here is, that's not advice they need to hear, but it's certainly advice that could be shared to the dog owning community.
Dogs were not designed to live in our houses. Yeah. They were not designed. Their functional anatomy is not built for houses. So it's not built for floors. It's not built for running to the front door when someone arrives. It's not built for jumping on and off furniture. It's not built for that. It's not built for being left for a long time and then being taken for a very long walk. That is not how dogs operate. So think more about what a dog is designed for, their body, and also how they would behave more in the wild as far as activity and exercise is concerned. Huge. All of those are big subjects, but they have a big, don't they?